Hi everyone, it's me Gwen, and today we're doing the second live show of 2025 summer August. Okay, well, it's 8 p.m. in Korea, and I guess it could be a different time in other countries, but we luckily were able to start off without any problem here because, sometimes things occur during or before, right before we, do the live show, and but luckily everything was just on the dot today. Well, Teiji, thank you for joining. It's still hot in Osaka. Well, what was the temperature in Osaka? And Choco, thank you for coming. Choco, 안녕하세요. Okay, so I know we're a little bit off this month. Oh, we were supposed to do the first live show actually 2 weeks ago, but we were able to do it last week because of an unfortunate accident. But we're on time for the English TOEIC Speaking Live show. Okay. All right. And today I actually was outside and the weather in Korea is getting cooler now. It was around like 38, 39, but now it's only 30, 31, and actually sometimes it's raining. Yes, it's raining. It's like, the sky is very clear and it's like you can see the sun shining, but it starts raining all of a sudden. So we're experiencing something really, really weird. Like not crazy, but really strange and weird. It's like sunny and rainy at the same time. So the other day, I was riding my bike to the lab and it was sunny, so I didn't expect any rain, but all of a sudden it started to rain. So I was like soaked in rain in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, that's what the weather's like. So in Taiji, it's over 35 degrees. Wow. And Emily Tang, I guess you're coming from Taiwan. Well, thank you for joining us. Okay, so we have a viewer coming from Japan, from Seoul, and I guess from Taiwan, right? Well, if there are anybody else who's like coming onto the show, let me know where you guys are coming from, and also, when you'll be taking the test. Okay, all right. Oh, we have Henry Nguyen. So this person is coming from Vietnam, I suppose. All right, so we're going to go right into TOEIC speaking test. Now, we have uploaded the test on the Wednesday, and now we're going to talk about the test set that you had seen already on our channel. And here is the first question of part one. Okay, so I'll read this for you first. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lakeshore Library's annual Literature Night. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Ms. Clara Mendoza. Her translation work has touched countless lives by bringing stories, poems, and children's books across cultures to new readers. Please join me in giving her a big round of applause. Okay. It wasn't a short passage. Sometimes when you take the TOEIC speaking test, you see some very short passages. I'm like, oh, is this really? I mean, didn't you guys forget one or two sentences? Like kind of short. But I think this isn't a short passage. It's not a long passage. It's very moderate. And the words like lakeshore, okay? You have to be careful with the SH sound. It's like shore. And annual literature night. The name is Lakeshore Library's annual literature night. But if you have to make a stop in the middle of this name, it would be Lakeshore Library's, a little stop there, annual literature night. Okay. Pleasure, that's the voiced sound of the SH sound, right? So it's pleasure, but pleasure with a sound. Pleasure. Okay. Introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Keynote, there's the stress on the first syllable. The name is Clara. I think Koreans would say Clara, but it's actually Clara Mendoza. The name has the second syllable stress. So it's got to be Mendoza. Okay. Translation has a stress on the second syllable, which is translation. Countless. Be careful with the T sound. Countless. countless, okay? And then the word is not lives, it's lives, okay? It's the plural of life. So countless lives, lives, okay? Poems, poems. Be careful with the S's because sometimes I see students leaving out the S sound. Stories, poems, children's books, right? Across cultures. There are so many S's there. To new readers. Z. And finally, we always see this chunk of word, which is a big round of applause, right? These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words are just like one expression. So you have to read it together like as if they are one word. A big round of applause. A big round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause. All right? Okay, so I'm going to read this twice. And then the first time is going to be the slower version. The second time is going to be the faster version. Good evening Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lakeshore Library's annual Literature Night. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Ms. Clara Mendoza. Her translation work has touched countless lives by bringing stories, poems, and children's books across cultures to new readers. Please join me in giving her a big round of applause. Okay, so that was a slower version. I sort of tripped in the middle, but in the beginning, but I started over again. And this is going to be a faster version. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lakeshore Library's annual Literature Night. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Ms. Clara Mendoza. Her translation work has touched countless lives by bringing stories, poems, and children's books across cultures to new readers. Please join me in giving her a big round of applause. Okay, so that was the first passage. And Teji is asking how to read the word literature correctly. Okay, so there are 2 ways to read this word. It's either literature, making the hard T sound. It's literature. I has the stress. So literature, or literature, making the soft T sound, more like an L, literature. Can you hear that? Literature. I'll show you a comparison. So it's literature. That's the difference. But both are fine, okay? So literature, or literature. Okay, so I think we have Utah Chu. I'm supposing that you're coming from Taiwan. The last name sounds like Taiwanese, Lita Chu. Thank you for coming. All right. And that was our first passage. All right, since we have no more questions regarding the first passage, I'm just going to move on to the second one, okay? So this is the second passage. Take a look at it. Okay. Before I read it, I find the second one a little bit easier than the first one. Okay. So let me read it out for you. Looking for the perfect spot where the whole family can enjoy great food and plenty of fun? Visit Harper's Grill on Maple Avenue, where hearty dishes come together with family-friendly entertainment. With something for everyone to enjoy, it's the ideal destination for your next night out. Book your table today and make it an evening to remember. Okay, so this passage had less big words. Well, I do see some long words and some tricky ones. For example, perfect spot. Okay, PF, both are, existing in the word perfect. You have to be careful with P sound and an F sound. When they come together, you can get confused. Perfect. It's the first syllable stress. So perfect spot. Okay. And plenty of fun. There's also P and F all together. Starting from food and plenty of fun, it's a mix of P and F sounds there. And then the word Maple Avenue I think maple is not a hard to read word, but avenue, Maple Avenue, and then hearty dishes. Hearty means something that has a lot of heart, like hardly effort into it. Okay, so hearty dishes. You know, mothers would make hearty dishes for their family, right? So hearty. Oh, for this word, you can also make the hard T sound, hearty dishes, hearty, or the soft T sound, hearty dishes, hearty dishes. Oh yes, a family friendly entertainment. Another F word sitting there. Family friendly entertainment. Entertainment, again, entertainment. Both are fine. Nothing, you can't say either one of the two is better or, it's better or will bring you, better score, but it's either entertainment with a hearty, entertainment, or entertainment. Entertainment. So you just sort of omit that T sound and make it an N sound. Entertainment, entertainment. Or the hard T, entertainment, entertainment. Okay? I see the word destination. And the word evening has the first syllable stress. And then the word remember has the second syllable stress. Remember. Okay? Once again, the names appear here are Harper's, Maple in Maple Avenue. Okay. So, do we have any questions about the words that appear in this passage? If it's okay, then I'll just read it right on. I read right on, okay? So I'll read it once slowly and once fast. Looking for the perfect spot where the whole family can enjoy great food and plenty of fun? Visit Harper's Grill on Maple Avenue, where hearty dishes come together with family-friendly entertainment. With something for everyone to enjoy, it's the ideal destination for your next night out. Book your table today and make it an evening to remember. Well, I tried to read it slow there, okay? And faster. Looking for the perfect spot where the whole family can enjoy great food and plenty of fun? Visit Harper's Grill on Maple Avenue, where hearty dishes come together with family-friendly entertainment. With something for everyone to enjoy, it's the ideal destination for your next night out. Book your table today and make it an evening to remember. Okay, as I read this passage faster, I was able to feel that I was making a lot of soft T sounds. For example, I said about plenty of fun, right? And then the part where it says family-friendly entertainment. Family-friendly entertainment. And the last sentence here, I said, book your table today, and make it an evening to remember. Okay, so the word it is a pronoun, and because it's a pronoun, you do not have to stress that word. You don't have to read it very strongly. So make it in is how I read it. Make it an evening to remember. Okay. And as you read it faster, the more important thing is not to focus only on the speed, but also you got to be focused on making the correct stress, okay, in each word. All right. Okay, so that was part 1. Seems like everyone's quite quiet today. What's happening, y'all? Oh, it's another Friday. It's the last Friday of August 2025. It seems like you guys are exhausted already. Hello, Jade. It's Jade Kang. So I guess you're Korean, right? Kang is a Korean last name, I think. Seems like you guys are exhausted. Well, I'm exhausted actually. Yeah, the weather's been making me tired. Yes, Jade, it's a happy Friday. Yes, it is. Okay, so we have a picture here with 2 people. And actually, if you're not going to be talking about... Oh my God! 연홍님? 연홍님 from New York? Really? Oh my God. She's like a nurse. She used to be my student and now she's living in, you're still living in Manhattan, New York, right? Oh, Yonong님, you know what? I saw your pictures on Kakao and it's a private question, but are you married? I saw your picture. I wanted to say congratulations, but like it felt like also all of a sudden. So, but oh my God, thank you for coming. Oh my God. I think it was 2 years ago when she was training with me for TOEIC Speaking. And now, yes, she is in New York, working as a nurse. And she bought a house. She bought a house, I guess, and she's married. Oh my God. She's achieved her dreams, all of her goals. Congratulations, Jade. I definitely got to go to New York to see you. Okay. Emily Tang, yes, is congratulating Jade. 오 마이 갓, 연홍님. 오, 남편분도 만나고 완전 dream come true. Yes, you know what? I feel so thrilled. This lady, was so frustrated when she wasn't able to get the score. Yeah, she was stuck on 150, and she needed to get 160. And then there was a big breakthrough. And on her like try with me, I think it was like the second or third test, she got 170. Yeah. So she was like really thrilled actually. Oh my God. 너무 반가워요. So nice of you to drop by just to share the tip of the piece of your news. Thank you. So how's life in New York? Let us know. I mean, like with with the news that we see on TV, it seems like America is crazy right now. Like President Trump is, turning things upside down. And things are crazy. Is it the reality? I'm really like wondering if it's okay to live there. Anyways, wow, you're with your husband. Is he Korean? Is he Korean American? He seemed like Asian in the picture. I don't remember. But you know what? If you come to Korea, just let me know. Yes. He's a Korean. You met another Korean in New York. Oh my God. Okay, so everybody, we're so focused on having a conversation with Jade right now. But guys, we're on part two. I need you guys to share some, words that could be used to describe this picture. Okay? 연웅님, 나중에 한국에 오게 되면 꼭 한번 연락 주세요. 예, 제 카톡 아시죠? Okay, Henry says, I can see two people in the background. However, I wonder if I can start with this as a picture of two people indoor. Oh, yes, you can, Henry. That's what I was about to talk about. So, although we see two people in the background on the very side, okay, if you're going to talk about those two people, you would have to start by saying there are four people or there are several people. But if you have made up my mind to not talk about those two people on the left, then just talk about the two people in the front, in the middle, the big two people, and just start by saying there are two people in this picture. Okay? Actually, that's how I would do it. But if I mentioned there are four people or several people, you would have to include something about those two people, okay, on the left. So I'll show you two versions of my answer for this picture here. Okay. First one is by talking about only the two people in the middle. And second one is by talking also including those two people on the left. Okay. So here I go. This is a picture taken inside, and there are two people in this picture. On the left side of the picture, I can see a woman. She has long hair. She's wearing a beige jacket. She is talking on the phone, and she looks very serious. Next to her, there is a man. He's wearing a green shirt. He has a beard, and he is carrying a bag on his shoulder and looking at the woman. Maybe people are busy. Okay. I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like there's something wrong going on. So maybe not. So I just said they're busy. Okay. So I simply talked about those two people. I talked about the location on the left side of the picture. And then I talked about women's appearance. I said she's wearing a beige jacket, And I also said she is talking on the phone, but I said something like she looks serious. She does, doesn't she? She looks serious. So this is the right way of saying it. You cannot say it looks like she looks like serious, okay? This is a wrong way of saying this. Like, everybody, like is not a verb here. Like is a preposition. So if you're going to use the preposition like, there's got to be a noun. Okay? So she looks like a teacher. She looks like a customer. You can say that, but serious is not a noun, it's an adjective. So she looks serious, if you want to say that. Okay, KG says on the left side, there are two people sitting on a couch. Maybe they're busy. I'll add that this time. Now, this time when I say my answer, I will include those two people. Okay, so this is how I'm going to start this one. This is a picture taken in a lobby of a building, and there are four people in this picture. In the foreground of the picture, I can see two people. One of them has long hair. She is wearing a beige jacket. She is talking on the phone with her left hand in her pocket. And one of them is wearing a green shirt. He has a beard. He's carrying a bag on his shoulder, and he's looking at the woman. On the left side of the picture, I can see two people sitting in front of windows, and maybe they're busy. Gosh, I almost ran out of time. Yes. So this is another way of describing the same picture. Okay. Henry says the woman wearing a pale brown jacket is talking on the phone. Okay. It's very descriptive in one sentence. Next to a man wearing a green long sleeve t-shirt and a backpack. Okay. Now, Henry, that sentence has to be fixed. You can say next to her, man wearing a green long sleeve t-shirt. Okay. This guy is looking at her. Is one way of saying this. Or if you want to really include backpack, you cannot add backpack right away, because wearing a long sleeve t-shirt and carrying a backpack, you have to say carrying a backpack, because the man is not wearing the backpack, right? He's carrying a backpack. So a man wearing a green long sleeve t-shirt carrying a backpack is looking at her. But, I highly do not recommend doing this, because why would you do that? Why would you want to include too much information in one sentence? Keep everything simple, okay? So a man is wearing a long green t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, just one information, please. He's carrying a backpack. He's looking at her, okay? So what I actually do is he is wearing a green shirt. One information there about what he's wearing. He is carrying a backpack. It's not even a backpack, I think. He's carrying a bag and looking at her. If you want to combine two sentences together, just combine the sentences that have the same structure. So in this case, present progressive. He is carrying, he is looking. I get rid of he is and then just put that together. So he is carrying a bag and looking at her. Okay. Emily, this is a picture taken inside. There are two people in the foreground of the picture. The woman on the left side of this picture is talking on her phone with another hand resting in her pocket. Resting in her pocket? No. Resting is like when you're saying resting, she is resting her chin on her hand, or she is resting her hands on the table. It's like putting something without any weight. It's like resting something. we don't know if she's resting or not, right? So I said blah 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 with her hand, one hand in her pocket. Okay, so this is how you could say about the woman's hand in the pocket. Okay. So I described the picture twice. All right. So the answer to, should I say there are two people or there are four people? It depends on what your answer is going to be. Okay. If you want to describe just two people, then you should start with there are two people. If you're going to talk about all the people in the picture, then mention those people in the beginning. Okay. Now, moving on to the next picture. You know what now? I have so many students all around the world. I have students in Europe, of course, in America, of course, and I even have students in Alaska. Yes, there is a nurse student in Alaska. And then there's a student on a research boat, a research cruise in Alaska. So he's actually cooking for these Korean scientists who are doing some researches and experiments in Alaska. Yes, that's crazy, isn't it? Okay. So there are two people here. And I think I can only see two people. Do you guys see more people? I only see two. Yeah. But there are some things that you specifically have to mention in this picture. Yeah. It's not just standing, holding, and looking at, but she is actually doing something very specific. So it's better to mention what the woman is doing, especially the woman on the left, right? I'm still waiting for you guys to say something. A little more about when somebody has their hands in the pocket. I could say, let's say he is walking with one hand in his pocket, or his left hand is in his pocket. But you can never say he is putting his hand in a pocket. Because then, if you say putting something, it means he is in the middle, is doing something right now, right? It's happening. So he is in the middle of putting his hand in the pocket. It's not like fully in the pocket. So you don't say that. Unless the person is in the process of putting the hand in the pocket, okay? All right, so Taiji, this is a picture taken in an office. There are two people. Left side, there's a woman. She has long hair and is wearing a long sleeve shirt. Everything is correct. Choco, this picture was taken at an office. There are two people, and on the left side, there's a woman. She has long black hair. She's wearing a green shirt and using a copy machine. That's good. The only problem with the word copy machine, right? You have to mention using a copy machine. Is that you cannot say copy machine. It sounds like coffee, coffee. If you do not open up your jaws enough, it sounds like coffee machine, coffee. So when you want to make coffee, you can use your coffee machine. But if you are going to make copies of the documents, you have to say copy machine, like copy machine. Okay? You know, there's a place called Costco. Yeah. It's like a big a warehouse kind of store that came from America, and we have that in Korea too. And in Korea, it is said Costco. Costco. Yes. But in English, it's Costco. Costco. It's like Costco. Okay? So it's not Costco, it's Costco. Same, it's not copy or coffee, it's copy. Copy. You have to open up your mouth. Drawing 3. This is a picture of an office with two people. Both of them are wearing formal clothes, okay? On the left side, a woman is standing next to a copy machine and using it. She is holding some documents. True. And a green shirt is if you're holding a photocopier. A photocopier is, yeah, she's holding the lid. She's holding the cover of the photocopier. While the one next to her is wearing a light brown jacket, okay? Henry, I can tell that you like to shorten the sentences, okay? And they look busy. Emily, the woman on the left side of the is wearing a green blouse and she's using a printer. That's not a printer. That's a photocopier, right? Copy machine. Printer is a little different. Printer is a machine that just like prints out documents, right? Is holding a piece of paper and waiting in line for the printer. It's not a printer, I think. On the right side, we checking and holding a document while looking at the women and think they are busy. That's a good way of saying it. They look busy. You can say they look busy, or I think they're busy. Maybe I see first is two people. What I see first is two people wearing formal attire. Formal attire, okay. They are nicely dressed up. Are dressed up. Formal clothes. Formal attire is another way of putting it. Okay. All right, so I think I'm ready. I think I can do it. 30 seconds. Here I go. This is a picture taken in an office, and there are two people in this picture, and they look like coworkers. And in the middle of the picture, I can see a woman with long hair, and she's wearing a green blouse. She is holding some documents and using a copy machine. And behind her, there is a woman. She is wearing a beige jacket. She is also holding some documents, and it looks like she's waiting for her turn to use the copy machine. And maybe they're working hard. Okay. Oh, I said she is waiting for her turn. She is waiting for her turn to use the copy machine. All right. So the expression that you should remember is she's waiting for her turn. She is waiting for her turn. Oh, and I have one thing to tell you guys. If you want to say paper, it's uncountable. So you would have to say she is holding some pieces of paper. It's a bit too much, right? So that's why she is holding some documents would be an easier way to talk about what they are holding in their hands, because paper is uncountable. So when I was in elementary school, when I used to be younger back in the old days, teacher would always say, take out a piece of paper. Take out a piece of paper. Okay. She would always say, take out a piece of paper, because, we would have to write something down on the piece of paper, but she never said, teachers would never say, take out a paper, because that is wrong. Okay. But I guess nowadays kids, they wouldn't have to take out a piece of paper because they could use tablet PC, right? They could simply use tablet PC or laptop computers in class and take notes. So, yep, there was a time when teachers said, take out a piece of paper. A piece of paper. It's uncountable noun. All right, now we're going to move on to part 3. So it says, imagine that an English newspaper company is conducting research for an article and they're gathering information about people's preferences when it comes to giving gifts. And we know TOEIC Speaking loves to talk about gifts, right? TOEIC Speaking just loves to talk about gifts, talking about like everything as a gift, like giving music as a gift, giving artwork as a gift, giving books as a gift. This test likes to give everything as a gift, okay? So here, it's about everything related to gift. So the first question is, when was the last time you gave someone a gift and what was the occasion? Okay. When was the last time you gave someone a gift and what was the occasion? Taiji, I gave a gift for my mom last weekend, and that was her birthday. She was pleased to receive it. Choco, I gave my friend a gift for a lipstick a month ago. It was her birthday and she liked it. I gave my brother a laptop on his birthday and he really loves it and he used it all the time. Well, that would be nice to receive a laptop from a brother or a sister. Okay, give is A to B. The preposition has to be to. Give something to somebody. Give A to B. Okay? And you can say, I gave A as a gift. Okay? I gave A something as a gift. Or another way of saying this is give B A. So if I put this in example, I gave a lipstick to my mom. Or you can say, I gave her, my mom, a lipstick. Okay? So you have to be careful with this. It's give A to B or give B A. Give something as a gift. I gave a laptop as a gift to my brother. Gave flowers as a gift. Okay? Man, I think I remember seeing that was her birthday. It's better to say it was her birthday. Okay? That we use that if that thing is far away. That's how we indicate something far away. So it's better to say it was her birthday. Okay. And then moving on to the second question. Do you prefer to buy gifts in person at a store or online? Why? Do you prefer to buy gifts in person at a store or online? I guess for me, it really depends on the situation. And because I'm always on the run, I'm always like busy. So it's really hard to make time to go to, several places to compare and see and try to find the best gift for somebody. So these days, I prefer to buy things online. There's everything online. You don't have to make time. And also, to be honest, if I have to give somebody a gift, I prefer to give like a gift certificate because, they can get whatever they want. And I know it would be very nice to give somebody something, like prepare a gift. But it's really hard to choose the one they would like, right? Choco. It depends on the situation. When I have time, I prefer to buy gifts in person at a store. If I don't have time, I prefer to buy gifts online. That's a perfect answer, Choco. And it sounds like you have been reading my book because in my book, I tell my students that rather than choosing one, it's better to go with both choices, right? By saying it depends on the situation. And Drong Thoy, I prefer to buy gifts online because it's much more convenient and I can easily compare prices among a lot of stores. It's time saving as well because I can order things from my phone. I can order things from my phone or on my phone, okay? So when we're talking about machines, the preposition is on. So on my phone, on my TV, on my computer, on my tablet, PC. Okay? Or sometimes we could say this. I can buy things from the comfort of my home. In that case, we say from the comfort of my home. Okay, Henry says, my preference would be to buy at a store to see the gift in person. Yeah, that's also very important. I can touch it. And Utah, normally I prefer to buy gift in person because I can touch it and check the texture and quality. Okay. Let's say that. All right, now moving on to the last question. Between candies and books, Candies and books. Which do you think makes a better gift? Okay, now in Korea, we have a day called White Day. All right, so it's basically another version of Valentine's Day. So we have Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day, which is brought from, it's an American culture, right? So Valentine's Day is February 14th, and White Day is March 14th. And basically, okay, so Valentine's Day is when guys give girls like chocolates and gifts. Well, guys give chocolate to girls. Let me put it this way because we learned this expression, give A to B, right? Guys give chocolates to girls. Chocolate is uncountable. So guys give chocolate to girls. Guys give chocolate to girls. But on White Day, girls give candies to. Is this right? I think it's the other way around. I think so. It's been so long. I think it's on Valentine's Day. Fix me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Girls give chocolate to guys. Yes, I think girls give chocolate to guys. And on White Days, yes, guys give candies to girls. This has to be right because I hated receiving candies. I'm sorry. It's not about me giving presents, but me receiving presents. I didn't like to receive candies. So whenever I had a boyfriend on that occasion, like if I would have a boyfriend in March, any time of the March, like any year of the March, then I would always say, hey, instead of giving me candies, do you think you can give me chocolate? Because I don't like candies. I'd rather have chocolate. So I would actually request like what kind of gift I want. Yeah. So I would just tell him in advance, I don't want candies. Don't buy me Chupa Chups. I hate candies. Don't make me suck on the candies, okay? So yeah, I think this has to be right. Girls give chocolate to guys and guys give candies to girls. Oh, okay. So I think candies are better gift for little kids, but books are a better gift for students. You can say that. So maybe you can say it depends on the situation, Teji. Yuta says today is Chinese Valentine's Day. Oh, I know what day that is. Chuseok. Yeah, I know there are two characters in that old story, right? The woman and the man. And in order for them to meet, these birds form like a bridge and they would be able to meet this day of the year. Oh, today is that day? Oh, all right. So what do you guys do in China on Valentine's Day? Oh, 배그림. I think books are better as a gift for several reasons. Above all, mm, where is it? Above all, where's the word above all? Okay. 배그림님, people can cultivate themselves by reading books and it is significant for grown-ups. Moreover, having candies can worsen health. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's like eating too much sugar is not good for your health. You're wrong. I think books are a better gift because they can give people knowledge. I usually choose books that are suitable for the receivers so they can feel how much I care about them. For the recipient is the person who receives something. Receiver, yeah, you can say that, but recipient. Candies are not very meaningful. Well, I think candies can be meaningful. It's just that I don't like candies. People can easily buy them in convenience stores or supermarket. Okay. I think it depends. It is better to give. Henry, it is better to give than candies to partners on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, the preposition is on. On something day. Books. I would choose books because. Okay, so if you want to say something in general, you have to make it plural if it is a countable noun. So I would choose books for somebody, and I would choose candies for somebody. Okay. So when you want to say something in general, okay, not specific like one book or one candy or anything like specific for one person, then you would have to say in plural. I would choose books. I would choose candies. Great. Now, with the help of you guys, I think I have everything ready to give you my answers. First one. When was the last time you gave someone a gift, and what was the occasion? Hold on. All right. I haven't thought about my answer. Yesterday I gave my friend a gift because it was his birthday, and actually he loves food, so I bought a box of goodies like sweets, cookies, candies, and he loved it. I just had to come up with something. So I gave him a box of goodies, is what I said. All right. And do you prefer to buy gifts in person at a store or online? It totally depends on the situation. If I have enough time, then I prefer to buy gift in person at a store because I can actually like choose a thing after checking the quality and asking for advice from the experts. But if not, online. Jesus. Okay, not much time there. Okay, I don't have much time there, so I wasn't able to finish my answer. I tried my best. Last one. Between candies and books, which do you think makes a better gift? I think if I have to choose one, then I would say candies. Books would make a better gift because personally, I love to read books, but nowadays I don't have time. First of all, I don't have time to go to a bookstore to buy books, and I don't have time to read books. So what I do is nowadays I like to listen to audiobooks. But if I have to give a gift to somebody, I guess, books would be good for them so that they can read something meaningful and learn from it. Yes. Yeah. I'm still thinking. I just can't decide. Yeah, I can't decide really. Or what about this? I think this could be another way of saying this answer. I think it depends on the situation. I mean, if you want to deliver a message to the person, then you go to a good bookstore, you find a book that could deliver your message and give that book to that person. Then it could help the person to learn about what you want her to feel or what you want her to learn. So I think that in that way, books could be a good choice. But, if you want to make them just simply happy, then candies could be a good choice. When people receive candies, most people like it. Not me, but most people like it, right? Not much meanings into it, but still. But I'm not saying candies are not meaningful. Sometimes, you can put a lot of meanings into candies, like if you made them by yourself. Or if you went out of your way, all the way out down into a store, and then you bought some really precious, rare candies. I guess that could be very meaningful. Okay. Now I'm moving on to part 4. Lakeshore Library Community Event. Family Movie and Culture Night. Saturday, October 12th, main auditorium, and this is happening. But see, on the left, there's a time of when the things are happening. In the middle, there are the sessions, and these sessions are a little complicated. You can see that from 6, there's a welcome and introduction session, and then first thing that's happening here is a movie demonstration. So the movie demonstration is about a world building in fantasy cinema. So I guess the speaker would be Emerson Wang, a film director. And after that, we're going to be watching a movie called The Forgotten City. It's a fantasy movie, and it's going to be about an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and a half, long. So it's starting at 6:30 and then finishing at 8:05. And then there's an intermission. And, whenever there's a star, you have to look under because there's extra remarks or notes regarding that star. And when you look at the bottom, it says free for both residents and non-residents. But also there's another star saying refreshments available in the lobby. But you have to be careful when reading this part, because if you want to read or use this part as your answer, you have to be able to create a full sentence. And in English, if you want to make it a full sentence, a verb is required. Okay? You must have a verb in each sentence. But in this sentence, I see no verb. So remember that. So on and so forth. So that's the chart. Now, here goes the first question, guys. The narration says, hello, my name is Natasha Gibson, and I would like to participate in the family movie and culture night at your library. And before I finalize my schedule, I have a few questions to confirm the details. Could you please help me out? The first question says, what is the first movie being shown and what time will it begin and end? What is the first movie being shown and what time will it begin and end? Okay. What is the first movie being shown and what time will it begin and end? Going to be waiting for your answers. What is the first movie? Yo-yo. Yo-yo. Hello, Yo-yo. Yes. Happy Valentine's Day. I am sorry I can't read the Chinese letters, but I think it means some kind of brother, if I could understand. Choco, at 6:30 p.m., the Forgotten City fantasy movie will be okay. It's a be, it's got to be past participle, so it's be shown. Show, showed, and shown, okay? Call you Jackie. I'll call you Jackie, okay? Show, showed, shown. Show, so will be shown. Or you can say will be played. Either is fine. Drong Thoy, the first movie being shown is The Forgotten City. It's a fantasy movie. It will start at 6:30 and finish at 8:05. The way you can read it is 8:05. Okay, 05. You just don't say 8:5, but you have to say 8:05. Okay, so Yo-Yo, we are still on part 4, but I think you're talking about part 5. So when we get to part 5, I'll share you my tips, okay? Oh, but let me see. How many seconds can I realistically spend applying this to outline the full content? I think you're talking about the preparation time. Let me talk about that when we reach part 5, okay? Yo-Yo, I think in 5 minutes, I think we'll be able to talk about part 5. Henry, the first one is called The Forgotten City. It starts at, it's better to say it will start, because when you use present tense, it's about things that will happen like repeatedly, or when you're giving out some kind of an information. Of course, we can use present tense, but it's better to say it will start at 6:30 because it's going to only happen once, right? And last for 1.5 hours. Well, that's true. That is not true. It's a little less than 1.5 hours or a little more. So about. It lasts about. And if you wanted to say last, use that. You had to say lasts, because you said it starts as a present tense. So you had to say lasts. You would have to apply the same tense. Okay? Remember that? 그림님, the first movie that's going to be shown is a fantasy movie called The Forgotten City, and it'll start at 6:30. Perfect answer. Okay, now the second one is, as far as I know, the event will be held on Sunday, October 13th, right? Again, second question says, as far as I know, the event will be held on Sunday, October 13th, right? The event will be held on Sunday, October 13th, right? It's a very easy question. Obviously, Sunday, October 13th, the event will be held on Sunday, October 13th. Right, everyone? Is it? Okay. You have the wrong information, or you have the right information. Okay. The. Henry says, well, your information is absolutely incorrect. That's another good way of saying that. It is scheduled on Saturday, October 12th. I'm afraid that you got the wrong information. It'll take place on Saturday, October 12th. I'm sorry, but you've got the wrong information. Yes, you have, same as you've got the wrong information. You'd better check the schedule. I think I pressed something. Is it okay? No? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think everyone's got this one right. It was a very easy question. And now we're going to move on to question 10. I heard there will be a demonstration sessions. There will be demonstration sessions with the directors before each screening. Could you provide me with all the details? Again, I heard there will be demonstration sessions with the directors before each screening. Could you provide me with all the details? Demonstration sessions, guys. If you have been studying TOEIC speaking long enough and listening to my live shows, me talking, I think you would find part 4 quite easy because there's a certain pattern that you can apply for part 4. And especially the questions of part 4, there's a routine. For the first question, they always ask about simple information. The second one, they always go for actually something that's wrong. And the last one, when you hear a keyword, normally things that you have to relate to the question would be two, right? Two things on the schedule. So there are two. First, from 6:15 to 6:30 p.m., there will be a movie demonstration, one on world building in fantasy cinema, given by Emerson Wang, a film director. Okay, Teji, there's only one word that's missing. That's a film director. Okay, it is totally fine to say movie demonstration one, but another way of saying is the first movie demonstration. Okay? The first, and when you use the word first, automatically you have to add the first movie demonstration. Okay? So, no, it's a movie director. The reason when we use the is if that position is one and only kind of position. For example, Gwen, the CEO. Okay. Gwen, the president of. So if that, position is one and only kind of position, you can say the. But if it's like a job or a position that is for everyone, then and oh, you know what? If the case here, let me put it this way. In this case, Emerson Wang, if Emerson Wang was a movie director of a specific film that we're talking about here, that we could have said duh, but it doesn't seem like she's going to talk about her movie. So yeah, in this case, it would have to be a film director. Okay. The first one is on. That's not bad. Henry, you can say that. Okay, so we were talking about movie demonstration 1, the first movie demonstration. Movie demonstration 2, you can say the second movie demonstration, right? Oh, world building. The second one is building emotional. Durong, when you want to say this, you have to say the second one is on. Is on. Building emotional depth in film. Yeah, I get that question all the time. There will be a speech on, and there will be a presentation on, and there will be a, let's say, lecture on. And normally that's when we talk about the topic. So after on, we normally put topic. The times when we can say talk about would be, he's going to talk about something. So when we say, we also say like about like some kind of a topic, but this goes into a bit of a layer, like in depth, a little bit a layer in. So he will talk about something. We go more specific about what the people will talk about. So when we talk about like a general topic, yeah, we say on, not about. And then when you say discuss, there's no preposition. Okay, so we got all the questions there. Now, here my answers. What is the first movie being shown and what time will it begin and end? Well, the first movie is called The Forgotten City. It's a fantasy movie. It'll start at 6:30 p.m. and it'll finish at 8:05 p.m. Please keep that in mind. Oh my God. What happened to the timer? Okay, I pushed the wrong timer. Let me do it again. All right, so what is the first movie being shown and what time will it begin and end? Well, the first movie being shown is called The Forgotten City. It's a fantasy movie and it'll start at 6:30 p.m. and it'll finish at 8:05 p.m. So please keep that in mind. As far as I know, the event will be held on Sunday, October 13th, right? Actually, you have the wrong information. The event will be held on Saturday, October 12th, not October 13th. So you must check the schedule. Please double check. All right. You know what? I intentionally talked about October 13th, showing the reader that I have heard that information and I'm going to correct you clearly. Okay. And last question. I heard there will be demonstration sessions with the directors before each screening. Could you provide me with all the details? Sure, there are two. First, at 6:15 p.m., there will be the first movie demonstration on world building in fantasy cinema, given by Emerson Wang, a film director. And then from 8:20 to 8:35 p.m., there will be the second movie demonstration on building emotional depth in film, given by Dana Hopkins, a film director. So both of them should be very interesting. All right. And when it comes to demonstration, it's given by. Okay. I talk about this all the time. You have to use the right verb. There will be a demonstration on something given by. All of these all of these like lecture, given by. They're all given by. Given by. Okay. So that was part 4. Now, moving on to part 5. All right, so I'm going to go back to the question that was asked about What was the question? Okay, I'm scrolling back up, scrolling back down the question. Yo-Yo? Yo-Yo? It was Yo-Yo's question, right? Yeah. So Yo-Yo said, I would like to ask about the 1 minute opinion response in the last task of TOEIC speaking test. And during the exam, approximately how many seconds can I realistically spend applying the STAR method to organize my ideas and outline the full content of my response? Okay. I think what Yo-Yo is saying, I think you're talking about the preparation time again. So, there are preparation times. So for part one, you are given 45 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to answer. Part two, you're given 45 seconds to prepare and 30 seconds to answer. And then for part three, for each question, you're given 3 seconds to prepare. Okay, so it's 3, 15, and then last one, 3, and then 30 seconds. Part 4, you are given 3 seconds. Okay. It gets a little tricky sometimes because some people like forget about that 3 seconds and they start speaking and then they have to start their answer all over again. So that's that. And then part 5, you are given 45 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to answer the question. Okay. So 45 seconds is not a long time, but it is the longest time given to as a preparation time. And you do, I think, have time to sort of like scribble some words on that, the paper a sheet of paper they give you, and you can write, some words that you that would help you remember what to say. And I tell my students not to be accurate. Don't try to write down like the sentences that you want to say, but just like write down some key words, like key ideas that could like lead you to complete the story. So in this case, let's see, which type of teacher do you think is more helpful for children's learning at school? A teacher who gives a lot of homework, or a teacher who gives less homework? Give specific reasons and details to support your opinion. Okay, so what's your opinion, guys? Let's see. And I have to think about both cases. When I am preparing something, TOEIC speaking with my students, I tend to give a lot of homework to my students. I have them memorize almost everything. Yes. From my book. I have my students memorize almost everything from my book. So what they would have to do is they would have to memorize all the like model responses for part 3 questions. There are exactly 24 sets of questions for part 3 in this book. So I have them memorize each and every answers to each and every question. Because, by memorizing these answers, they can apply these answers to any kind of questions asked in TOEIC speaking. That's one way of approaching part 3. And then for part 5, what I do is I do the same. I have them memorize. I think there are 42 questions and answers in this book. I have them memorize all, let's see, 42. Uh, 44. 44. All 44 questions and answers. Yeah. And with that, there would be no problem providing an answer for TOEIC speaking. So, what's your idea? For children's learning at school, I think I would definitely have answer for a lot of homework. But let's say less homework. I had time to explore, like think about my own, like think about things, figure things out in my own ways. Time to read books and do other stuff that I like to do. I guess I would say that for the second choice. Actually, I wasn't a bad student when I was a child. I was actually a good student. And when I was in the States, I remember during the first 1 or 2 years, it was really tough because I had a hard time understanding English at school. By the way, I went to America when I was in second grade, which means I was there at 8 or 9 for the first time. And I didn't know a word in English, not even knew how to write my name. So, you know, it was almost impossible to do homework by myself, right? So I don't think my teachers would have expected me to do my homework, but I sort of like, had to do it. So I would stay up until after midnight with my mom and dad doing the homework with the help of my parents. I just couldn't go back to school without doing my homework. So that was the kind of student I was. Henry says a less homework allowed children to follow hobbies in their spare time. Okay. So that what you're saying, Henry, is would be better for children's learning at school, right? And Teji, who gives less homework, there are several reasons. It's helpful. Okay. Now you guys are being helpful for me because I really don't have much idea about helpful for children's learning at school by giving less homework. Choco, I think a teacher who gives a lot of homework is more helpful for children. I agree with you too. hmm Nowadays, what I think about teaching is when you don't teach something to your students, they would never know. So for me, when I don't correct them or when I don't point out their mistakes, they would never know. So I always point out all the mistakes. Sometimes I get lazy. I don't want to tell everything because I know it's going to be very stressful on them too. But in the end, if I don't tell them, they'll never know. So giving a lot of homework, I guess, is the same thing. If you, the teacher, don't make them do it, nobody's going to make them do it, is my philosophy. Because folks are so lazy these days. Let's see. You're wrong. I think a teacher who gives less homework is more helpful. And learning school, first of all, this is because you have to spend many hours at school. And they need time to rest and relax at home. If a teacher gives too much homework, they will feel stressed and lose interest in studying. That makes sense. 그림님, I think teachers who give a lot of homework are more helpful for learning. And above all, school is all about knowledge. If you don't do homework and practice by yourself, you cannot internalize all the lessons from school, though it might be demanding. Okay. It's important for education. In addition, people can improve their grades by doing homework. In high school, I had a lot of math homework, and that's how I got skilled at mathematical calculation. That's true. You have to practice, Without practice, you can never make it yours. You just have to review and practice, and that's the only way. I always tell you guys, we're all here talking about something in common, something called TOEIC speaking, right? We're here to talk about TOEIC speaking. And the only way to get this right, get a high score here, is to know what you lack, and you just have to train yourself to get better at it. That's it, right? And self-training is super hard. You need a lot of discipline. It's really hard to do everything by yourself. So it's really helpful to have somebody forcing you to do something, right? That's what I think. Teji says, I was in charge of house, also taking care of my younger sister. I didn't have time to do homework, so I'm busy after school. Oh, that's why I think so. Oh, really? Teji, I didn't know you have a younger sister. Choco, for example, in my experience, when I was a high school student, I was not interested in studying, but my teacher gave me a lot of housework. So I had to do and needed to get a good grade for graduation. I had to study hard. Mainly. Okay, so I'm going to set an STAR for a lot of homework. So in case of a lot of homework, I guess in when I was young, okay, I would say I was a bad student. I always like to start with a very bad, worst setting, right? And I didn't study hard, got bad grades. Okay. Oh, that's the, sorry, I would have to move that to trouble. That's the trouble part. Okay. But, one day at school, I met a teacher named Tom. Okay. He was very strict. Let's make them as a math teacher. So he gave lots and lots of homework. And I had to stay up. If I didn't do it, I got penalty. So I had to do it, right? As a result, I had to do it. I had no choice. And I studied hard. As a result, I got better grades. My grades improved. It was helpful, and that's why I think so. Okay, so this could be STAR for getting a lot of homework. Okay, would be better thing. But if I would have to say giving less homework is better for children's learning at school. Oh, Teji, this is about children's learning. It's not about like whether it is good or bad to give more or less homework. So, in terms of children's learning, that's what you would have to talk about. Not about like how some students might not have time to do their homework. So S would be I was a bad student when I was young or when I was in elementary school, high school. Okay, I was not interested. Mm-hmm. I was a bad student. I got bad grades. Okay. I didn't like certain subjects. But when I came home, I had time because there was not much. Hmm. I would just say, okay, I was just unlike other students. I was interested in music, okay, and art. So after school, I didn't have to do homework, so I listened to music. I went to art institutes, and as a result, I was able to get lots of experience in art and music. It's really hard to create an answer for less homework. Okay. I think I saw an idea up there for less homework. There was an answer. Okay. Do wrong says. Ah. Okay, so I was not a good student. Mm, trouble is I was bad. I didn't like to study. Luckily, I met a nice teacher named Tom, and he didn't give us less homework. So when I came back home, I was able to relax, recharge, play, and get rid of stress. Okay, I really like Jurong's version of answer for this. So I, was able to, when I went back to school, I was able to stay focused and study harder at school because no homework. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. So, here. So, version 4, a lot of homework. Here goes my answer. I think a teacher who gives a lot of homework is more helpful for children's learning at school, and there are several reasons to support my opinion. Most of all, I think it's very helpful to make kids study harder. For example, when I was young, of course, I didn't like to study. I was a very bad student, so I didn't do like lots of homework and I didn't like to study, so I always got bad grades. But when I was in third or fourth grade, I met a strict teacher named Tom, and he was a math teacher. So every day after math class, he gave us a lot of homework. At first, I didn't do it, but when we didn't do it, he gave us penalty, a very heavy penalty. So, I started doing homework. I stayed up late. I did all the homework. I hated it, but I have to admit, it really helped me improve my math skills. And after that, I was able to get better grades. And that's why I think so. Okay. I have to admit. I have to admit is what I said. Now, less homework. What's good thing about getting less homework? Do wrong's answer. Let me put that in words. I think a teacher who gives less homework is more helpful for children's learning at school. And there are several reasons to support my opinion. Most of all, I think it is very helpful to keep students, not give up on learning. Okay. For example, when I was in school and when I was in elementary school, I didn't like studying. I really hated like reading books. However, at school, I met a very unique teacher named Tom. He told us that as long as we focus in class, he would never ask us to do any kind of homework. He told us that he will not give us homework if we study hard in class. So that's what I did. I stayed focused. I answered all the questions that he told us to do. And, I always answered the questions that he asked, and I didn't have to do any homework. So, that way I was able to stay focused on my studies. That's why I think so. That's a little, I want to try that again. Let me try that again. Yeah, give me another chance, guys. I think a teacher who gives less homework is more helpful for children's learning at school. And there are several reasons to support my opinion. And most of all, I think it's helpful to keep students motivated. Okay. For example, when I was young, I was a bad student, so I didn't like to study. But in middle school, I met a very nice teacher named Tom, and he told us that as long as we study hard at school, he'll never make us do any homework. So I did. I focused in classes. I stayed focused. I always answered to all the questions that he asked us to do. And when he gave us reading time, I always focused on reading books. And, like he promised, he never gave us homework. And when I went back home, I didn't have to do any kind of like schoolwork. So I did other things like reading books, or I, would listen to music to get rid of stress. And by doing so, I was able to recharge, go back to school, and stay more focused. It was helpful in a way. And that's why I think so. Yeah, that's, I think, the best I could do. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, so I think we've gone through all the questions. And that was a set of TOEIC speaking class. And as always, TOEIC speaking questions stay about the same. The format hasn't changed since like 3 years ago. And questions, what they're dealing with, the topics and the levels, like whether it's the level of the question. It doesn't get any difficult. It stays the same, right? And if I talk about the question set of today, the test set of today's test set, I think it was fairly actually an easy test. Yeah, the questions were quite easy. I think moderate, not easy, but moderate. Okay. All right. So it was very nice to see Yeonok-nim. Yes, she came by, Jade came by to say hello from New York. And I do have a lot of students who used to study with me now working or studying all around the world. And if you guys happen to be one of them later in the future, just stop by because I think I'll be here all the time every second and the fourth Fridays, right? So next month, let me say it's September 12th when I'll be talking in a Korean. It's going to be the Korean live show, and it's going to be September 26th, the English live show. But, I'll be talking and saying all the answers in English. So you're always welcome to come by for both shows. Now, thank you, Jackie. Yes, thank you for coming by. I know Yo-Yo is there. And Durong, thank you for your answer. It was very helpful to answer for the other version of part 5. And guys, just stay healthy, stay cool, and I'll see you again in September. Till then, bye. Take care.